Six major developments that the mainstream media is being strangely quiet about right now, Michael Snyder reports. Absolutely enormous things are happening all over the globe, but you aren't hearing a lot about many of them. That's because the mainstream media chooses to focus on stories that advance the specific narratives that they're currently pushing. For example, virtually everyone knows who Kilmar Abrego Garcia is at this point, because the mainstream media has been endlessly focusing on him. But there are other stories of far more importance that are getting not getting the attention that they deserve. The following are six major developments that the mainstream media is being strangely quiet about right now. Number one, a self-amplifying mRNA bird flu vaccine that has been developed by a biotechnology company known as Arcturus Therapeutic Holdings has been fast-tracked by the FDA. Arcturus Therapeutic Holdings, Inc., a biotechnology firm specializing in mRNA medicines with a market capitalization of $266 million, announced today that the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, has granted fast-track designation to its self-amplifying mRNA vaccine candidate, ARCT-2304. The vaccine is aimed at providing immunity against the H5N1 subtype of influenza A, a virus with potential pandemic implications. This is a story of extreme importance, but hardly anyone is talking about it because the mainstream media is barely giving it any attention. Number two is the Ellis-Norr fault line waking. The magnitude 5.2 earthquake that just hit the California area has reignited fears that the big one is coming. A major earthquake in Southern California this week has reignited fears that the big one is coming, but scientists say it may come from an unlikely source. The little-known Ellis-Norr fault is a branch of the infamous San Andreas fault, stretching over 100 miles across Southern California from the U.S.-Mexico border through San Diego and Riverside counties and up towards Los Angeles. The California Institute of Technology has noted that the Ellis-Norr fault, which sits just 15 miles from San Diego County, is one of the largest fault zones in Southern California. According to Dr. Lucy Jones, the Ellis-Norr fault has the potential to generate a magnitude 7.8 earthquake someday. The Ellis-Norr fault zone is actually one of the largest in Southern California, according to Caltech, but in historical times has been one of the quietest. However, that inactivity belies a devastating potency. The fault is capable of generating a magnitude 7.8 earthquake, said seismologist Lucy Jones, a Caltech research associate. The Ellis-Norr fault is one of the major risks in Southern California, Jones said. As I keep writing, it's just a matter of time before a colossal earthquake absolutely devastates the California coast. Are you ready for when that day finally arrives? Number three, the price of gold has skyrocketed to record high levels. It's been a banner year for gold. In March, the precious metals price crossed over $3,000 per ounce mark for the first time in history. And the upward price trajectory did not stop there. The price of gold has continued to climb in the time since, surging past the $3,300 per ounce mark this week. I never imagined that the price of gold would be above $3,300 in the middle of April. How high will it go by the end of the year? Number four, the sun has been acting very strangely in recent months, and scientists are now warning that a lesser-known 100-year-long solar cycle is just beginning to ramp up again. The unexpected surge of solar activity during the ongoing solar maximum may be tied to a lesser-known 100-year-long cycle that is just beginning to ramp up again, a new study suggests. This little-known solar cycle is called the Centennial Gliesberg Cycle, and it is yet another reason why solar activity is expected to be unusually high during the years in front of us. Another lesser-known repeating pattern in solar activity is the Centennial Gliesberg Cycle, CGC, a variation in the intensity of sunspot cycles that rises and falls every 80 to 100 years. The CGC is still poorly understood, but it's likely tied to subtle sloshing of the magnetic fields in each of the sun's two hemispheres that slightly alters the Hale cycle. Scott McIntosh, a solar physicist at the newly formed space weather solutions company Linker Space, who was not involved in the research, told Life Science. Number 5, in Alaska, a major eruption of Mount Spur could be coming very soon. Scientists with the Alaska Volcano Observatory have said that Mount Spur, a volcano located roughly 80 miles from Anchorage, is likely to erupt in the coming weeks or months based on elevated seismic activity. In the event of an eruption, scientists said, it's highly possible ash will make its way to Anchorage, causing issues with air quality and possibly disrupting travel. Mount Spur has covered Anchorage in ash before, and we are being warned that a similar event in 2025 could result in widespread ashfall across the region. While Anchorage lies outside the immediate impact zone of Mount Spur, previous eruptions in 1953 and 1992 sent ash clouds over the city, coating it in about a quarter-inch of ash. A similar event today could result in widespread ashfall across the region, the AVO warned. Volcanoes all over the world, all over the Ring of Fire, have been roaring back to life. I believe it's just a matter of time before the volcanoes in Washington and Oregon start waking up as well. Number 6, the New York Times is reporting that President Trump actually blocked an Israeli attack on Iran that was originally planned for May. Apparently, Trump wanted to see if a deal could be negotiated with the Iranians instead. The following is what Zero Hedge had to say about the New York Times report. President Donald Trump rejects an Israeli plan to attack Iran with U.S. military support, which was pitched with a timeline of as soon as next month, in favor of seeking diplomacy with Tehran, the New York Times reported on Wednesday. And the report indicated Israel was seeking significant American support for preemptive strikes on Iran's nuclear facilities, with aerial bombings backing up Israeli commando raids and destroy the Iranian sites. The viewpoint from Tel Aviv is that such a massive operation, envisioned to take a week, would not be successful without direct U.S. assistance. It was during Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's visit to the White House earlier this month that Trump informed the Israeli leader that instead he would pursue new diplomatic talks with Iran. This is good news, but the Iranians do not seem to be in any mood to compromise. At the moment, they are insisting that they must be allowed to continue to enrich uranium. That is not going to be acceptable to Israel, and I don't think that's going to be acceptable to the Trump administration either. We shall see how negotiations go this weekend, but it appears that a major conflict with Iran is coming sooner or later. Global events are starting to move at a pace that is absolutely breathtaking. Unfortunately, most Americans just continue to live their lives as if the party will never end. This is by Michael Snyder on End of the American Dream. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. About the author, Michael Snyder's new book, a blockbuster entitled Why, is available in paperback and for Kindle on Amazon. He also has written 8 other books available on Amazon, including Chaos, End Times, 7-Year Apocalypse, Lost Prophecies of Future America, The Beginning of the End, Living a Life That Really Matters. When you purchase any of Michael's books, you help to support the work he's doing. You can also get his articles by email as soon as he publishes them by subscribing to his Substack newsletter. Michael has published thousands of articles on the Economic Collapse blog, End of the American Dream, and The Most Important News, and he always freely and happily allows others to publish those articles on their own websites. These are such troubled times and people need hope. John 3:16 tells us about the hope that God has given us through Jesus Christ. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. If you have not already done so, we strongly urge you to invite Jesus Christ to be your Lord and Savior today. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support, and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.